because inflammations putting diabetic, high blood patient or chronic respiratory problem and hypertension at least, we will talk that today. Okay, this is Dr. Dorwin Lahot. Outstanding morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And be ready if you have any questions and comments that you want to add in this program. Please leave a comment and let's talk about it if that is very important. Now, what triggers inflammations? Okay, now why we need to learn this thing. No, inflammation is triggering, and when you have problem like diabetes, you still suffer or problem with inflammations, right? Okay, there is what we call edema when you have diabetes. Okay, if you have heart problem, okay, suffering from heart disease, and inflammation is still there, and people who have heart disease still suffer edema. Okay, there is a full moon phase, and your hands is having these inflammations in your feet, right? If you have chronic problem or respiratory problem, still, okay, people with respiratory problems still suffered inflammations, the edema. What triggers inflammations? You know, before, I think 2010, okay, printed in the Time magazine, inflammation is what? A higher link to promote heart disease, diabetes, and etc. Okay, so inflammations was considered as the silent killer. But remember, okay, after 2010 and 2017, the silent killer now is what? The metabolic disorder. So what is the relationship between inflammations and the metabolic disorder? Before, when inflammation was considered as the silent killer, there are foods that triggers inflammations. According to many universities and experts, that there are food that triggers inflammations. And if you are also thinking that the food that you're eating considered as the triggering factor for inflammations, they considered that a particular food rich in sugar can trigger inflammation. When in fact, if you search in Harvard, okay, Health, you can find that article that says what? There are food that triggers, the top 5 food that triggers inflammation. Now, but later in the study, they considered that it is not the food, it is not the sugar, it is not these things that promote or triggers inflammations. They again made a study that it is through metabolism. So food and metabolism. Okay? So what's the relationship with that? You have eaten a food, but if you have problem with metabolism, okay, you still have that inflammations. So what's the problem there? You eat this kind of food or avoid this kind of food, or solve your metabolic disorder so that there is no inflammations. Okay? Because if you have diabetes, you will suffer inflammations. If you have heart disease, you still suffer inflammations. If you have coronary or respiratory problem, you still suffer inflammations. Inflammations, there is good in that. You know why? Because inflammation is a signal that there is going on the system. Okay, there is going on the system. It invites what? Antibodies, your immune system to release antibodies, and antibodies will also release what? The soldiers, the antibodies. Okay, to identify it if that is antigen or maybe it caused by certain bacteria, virus, or other particles. Scientists found out that toxins, okay, is toxic in the system, and it what? Triggers the inflammations. Inflammations will also call your attention or your immune system attention to release antibodies. But the bad side of the inflammations is what? Your connective tissue is what? Will be stretched out because that is inflamed, right? There is burning inside, and it will be stretched, and during the stretch process, a virus or bacteria can penetrate or can penetrate. So meaning, our time is out today. You know that what triggers inflammation? Okay? What triggers inflammation is the toxins that was given by a certain food. And if your metabolic, you have problem, metabolic rate is very low, then you cannot process that food, and that food will stay there longer in your blood. Like for example, one study in Harvard that above normal of sugar, meaning the end product of your food, okay, is already what they called it carb toxicity, and that is coming from a food toxicity. Okay, there are reasons why you have toxins, biotoxins coming from the food, okay, or phytotoxins coming from plants, and zootoxins coming from the animals, and biotoxins, right? And that is mentioned in the Britannica Encyclopedia. So, if you want to know more and learn about, then please like, okay, and you can share this, okay, if you want your friend to learn about what we are talking right here. And if you have questions, then please leave a comment. And this is Dr. Dorwin Lajot, nutritional medicine specialist. Thank you for watching. Alhamdulillah.